Hey guys, the topic of today's video is going to be about comparison and self-esteem. So we know that a lot of people struggle with self-esteem, and today I'm going to give my perspective on it. A lot of people feel inferior in some areas of their life, either beauty, their body shape, or how intelligent they are. And so, in order to relieve themselves of these feelings of inferiority, they keep striving for better aesthetics, maybe going to the gym or educating themselves in the hope that someday when they walk into a room, they'll be smarter and stronger or thinner than everybody else, and therefore feel secure. Now, this might sound like a logical response. It's a chain that starts with, I am inferior, I feel bad about my inferiority, therefore, if I become better, I can get rid of the discomfort my inferiority brings. Worthy to note, inferiority only exists in relationship to other people, which means that the problem is mainly a problem of how one relates to and evaluates himself against other human beings. And so one engages in this vicious cycle of self-improvement in the hope that someday he will attain a state in which he feels good about himself. As we all know, this game can be pretty devastating because the better you become, the further the goalpost moves. And if you fail at improving, oh boy, you're going to feel a lot of shame. By this token, we can see that this is a zero-sum game. For me to be smarter, someone else has to be dumber. Also, it's really hard to maintain winning in such games. Now, the first perspective to treat this issue is the perspective of trauma. When you were a baby, you never cared about whether you were smarter or thinner than other babies. And so one day, a traumatic event happened, and an authority figure in your life made you aware of your inferiority. And not just that, they also associated that inferiority with rejection and therefore death. Not literal death, of course, but the kind of existential panic a baby feels when it senses abandonment. To a baby, abandonment is death because survival depends entirely on the caregiver. That emotional logic stays with us, buried deep. So in your mind, what's happening is a trauma response that associates your insecurity with the unworthiness of life, a kind of an unconscious death sentence. And in order to escape the fear of abandonment and death, you're always trying to claim your right to acceptance to life itself. This is pretty normal for a living organism striving to preserve its existence. But unless you treat the causing problem, you'll always be stuck in a rat wheel and never break free. Then we have the second perspective, the one that tells you to stop comparing yourself to other people. It tries to provide an alternate reality where you live without attaching identity to external objects. So when comparison stops, suffering stops. The problem is, this is really hard to fully implement. It's almost like a pink utopia where hierarchies don't exist, where positions in the pyramid don't come with their own privileges or downsides. This feels more like a monk-based perspective, one that asks you to give up traditional life and create a whole new reality where comparison isn't even a concept. It's like in math, comparison isn't possible in the field of imaginary numbers, only in the field of real numbers, which is a good metaphor. This non comparison mindset feels almost imaginary to the average person who wants to live a normal, philosophical, but grounded life. And let's be honest, a lot of us don't actually want to stop playing the game. We're intoxicated by how good it feels when we win, when we walk into a room and feel better and stronger than everyone else, or even just fantasize about the day when that will happen. It's euphoric. So my perspective is more like an integration of both words. I see that my tendency to compare myself to others is a game I got cursed with and addicted to before I was even wise enough to make decisions. But I also acknowledge that I don't really want to stop playing the game. I just want to win. The fact that I even started considering the stop comparing yourself advice didn't come from the misery of the game itself. It came from the misery of losing. And if I can't win, I'd rather leave. But the approach I want to propose in this video is one that sees this for what it is, a game, nothing more. It's a game I play whenever I come into contact with another human being, which means whenever I meet somebody, there's automatically a comparison going on in my brain. Am I smarter than this person? Better educated? Stronger? Better looking? But the fact that I call it a game takes a lot of the existential weight off of it. Because a game is just a game. Sometimes I win, sometimes I lose. I'm not trying to stop playing the game. I'm not trying to transcend it. I'm just acknowledging that it is a game. And what makes games fun is that you win sometimes and you lose sometimes. If you always won, the game would be boring. If you always lost, it would be unbearable. So I try to hit that sweet spot and acknowledge that when I come up short in comparison to someone else, it's just a loss in a game I happen to be playing. It's not a big deal. And I think this approach is closer to the heart than either full suppression, just stop comparing yourself, or full indulgence, the greedy pursuit of superiority. That's it for today's episode. I don't claim that my perspective is more effective or even that it works. It's just a casual opinion I wanted to share. So, what do you think, guys? Does that fit with your own experience? Let me know. Have a great day.